Hello everyone and welcome to another Naraka Bladepoint video. This is OSK and today we're going to be going over the ultimate movement guide for Naraka Bladepoint in 2022. Now I'm sure as many of you new people have noticed, Naraka Bladepoint prides itself on unchained movement and combos and fluidity, all of which give you so much room for creativity as you look to finish off your opponents and seal that victory. But of course, as knowledgeable as I am about Naraka Bladepoint, I could not do this alone. So joining me in today's video, we have the streamer, #1 movement in NA, Treygo. Treygo and I go way back even since the Spellbreak days years ago, and we both started off this game in the beta. So it's only fitting that I have him join us here today with the complete movement guide for Naraka Bladepoint. So I hope you find his tips and tricks helpful, because in this video we're going to be going over all the basics of the movement in Naraka Bladepoint, all the advanced moves, and also all the character specific bits of movement that you can use when you're facing your opponent. Be sure to stick around until the very end of the video so you do not miss a single tip. And with that, if you're interested in more of these videos, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe before we get started. Thank you so much for watching, and now let's get into the ultimate movement guide for Naraka Bladepoint in 2022. Starting off, we have a really simple move for you guys to try, and that is slide hopping. Slide hopping is done by hitting the crouch button and then jumping. As you can see, this is how you do it on mouse and keyboard. And this is how you do it on controller. The timing window is kind of short. You want to jump almost immediately after you start sliding, but once you get it down, it can be a great tool to manage your stamina with. When paired with the next move that I'll be explaining, it is one of the best ways to manage your stamina while also keeping up a nice velocity while you're traversing the map of Naraka Bladepoint. Next we have focus attack cancels. This is done by simply holding down either attack button and then dashing out. Typically with each weapon you'll want to use the vertical attack and then dash out as opposed to the horizontal. This gives you just a little bit of extra speed. This way of moving is a little bit faster than the slide hopping we went over previously. The only downside to this method of movement is that it will use your stamina. If you're not careful in managing it correctly, you will run out, which will leave you a sitting duck for anybody trying to catch a fight. If you're smart, you'll use focus canceling along with slide hopping to maintain your stamina at a high rate. If you're too careless with this kind of movement, you could very well be the next target of somebody trying to hunt. So make sure you're careful and be sure to manage your stamina well. Now I could end this section here, but I'm going to give you a few extra moves that you can use with specific weapons that'll let you move faster than your typical focus cancel. Here they are with both keyboard and mouse and controller inputs. But wait, we're not done with the bonus tips. Here we'll have Treygo explain the different types of advanced character-specific movement with each of their F skills and blue focus canceling.
Hey everyone, I'm Treygo. More advanced movements have to begin somewhere. Here you can see I'm able to find the input window, which allows me to blue focus mid-air after using an ability. Make note, every hero can blue focus in the air. There's only a select few who can't blue focus after an ability is used due to the behavior of the ability or one of its variants. Holding any direction that isn't W or forward, hold dodging, then horizontal or vertical charging will allow you to blue focus mid-air. Finding openings during these windows are extremely useful for third partying. Most players never expect someone to come falling down on them, so use it as much as you can.
Now for Naraka Bladepoint's third section of movement, we're going to cover grapples. What would Naraka be without its grappling system? Well, it would be a lot less complex because it turns out you can do quite a lot with them. From simply hooking an enemy in place to absolutely styling on them with a flashy counter or even a horizontal combo, daggers offer a lot of ways for you to style on your opponent and move around the battlefield while you do it. Now by default you can activate grapples by pressing Q or right bumper if you're on controller, and then attacking like normal. Sure, you could go with the basic grapple, but they have a few cancels you can try. For example, you can do a horizontal attack that will usually give you a little bit of extra distance. You can crouch cancel the grapple, which will allow you to throw out a counter or other moves. And you can also jump cancel the grapple, although you will travel upward instead of downward. This can be used in much the same way by either countering or even chain grappling into another opponent or piece of terrain. And if you thought that was enough, here is Treygo with yet another tip on what else you can do with grappling while in the air.
The best way to cover a lot of distance is going to be grappling the highest area you can reach and horizontal attacking toward the end of your grapple, which can be followed up with airwalking. Airwalking consists of hold dodging in the air while holding W or forward to keep momentum going, jumping, then horizontal attacking and repeating the process. It could seem difficult at first, but with a little bit of practice, it will come much easier with time. Airwalking is very useful in moments of escaping, to cover lots of grounds or traversing across rooftops and trees. Some weapons allow for further distances compared to others due to the input timing window some weapons allow, so make note of that as you see my inputs on screen. As you can see, the spear doesn't gain much distance since it has a slow input window and drop off. You can also airwalk with certain range weapons if you use the same inputs you use for melee weapons.
And now for our fourth section, we'll cover scale rushing. Scale rushing is done by running up to a wall and hitting a horizontal attack. This normal scale rush is a normal attack and will not go through blue focus. However, if you hold down the attack button and let yourself glow blue, it will be considered a blue focus attack and you'll also travel just a little bit further. Now you can scale rush off a lot of things including walls, poles, and ceilings. You can also scale rush off of these little perches on some of the in-game roofs. Now, since one of the things you can scale rush off of is ceilings, it is highly recommended that you turn on ceiling interaction in your settings. This can be found here under game. Now, scale rushing might seem simple, but you'll notice the very best of players are able to chain these into some insanely fast moves. So what I recommend doing is booting up a custom game, going into Bloodbath, picking a nice spawn location you'd like to practice your scale rushes in, and then just having a go. One of my favorite drills to do right now is to go under the bridge in Celestra and just performing laps so that I get the timing right between hitting my jump button and scale rushing immediately after. The timing can be a bit tricky, so it's very important to practice this. And for your viewing pleasure, I'll have Treygo show off a nice little montage of scale rushing in Celestra. For our fifth and final section, we're going to go over the different types of dodging and dashing. While the other sections may have been more focused on traveling the world and making sure you can move smoothly, this one is directly related to combat. So no matter what skill level you're at, you'll want to pay attention to this section especially. Now there are really 4 different types of dodging you'll want to pay attention to: hold dodging, tap dodging, Oppo Dodging, and rolling. Hold dodging is probably something a lot of you already do. This is done whenever you first start to sprint, but this more importantly can be used to dodge certain attacks as well as combo your moves into each other. It's called hold dodging because all you have to do is simply hold down the dodge button and you'll perform it. This is typically done from standing still or after performing an attack by holding down dodge into a forward direction. Notice how short the actual dodge window is, but you'll be able to perform moves a lot more quickly than a lot of the other options. Next we have tap dodging, which is the most essential for dodging moves. This one is exactly how it sounds. Instead of holding dodge, you'll just tap it. This can be done in different directions to dodge in different directions. Now you'll notice that when compared to hold dodging, the dodge window is actually much larger, which will give you a lot more safety whenever you're playing defensively. This will allow you a much larger window for your iframes to dodge incoming moves and then lay down your counterattack. But just like tap dodging, we have Oppo Dodging. Oppo Dodging is short for opposite dodging. This is simply done whenever you're facing one direction and then tap dodging in another direction. This is a good way to quickly mix up your movement. For example, you can be sprinting left and with a simple push of 2 buttons, you'll be instantly sprinting to the right. And notice the little dodge window in between as well. This is typically used in a forward to back action to dodge specific moves. However, you can use the left and right function to throw off your opponent's aim in certain situations, especially against ranged weapons. And finally, we have rolling. This is done by pressing the dash button in the same direction as you are moving. Because of the long animation of rolling, this is typically something you don't want to do. However, there are some very specific uses that you can use to dodge out of certain moves. You typically will almost never want to go for rolling though. Usually whenever you do this, you've done something wrong. And now to put it all together, here is Treygo with some advanced dodging tips that you can use right now to improve your game.
Dodging in Naraka is possibly one of the most satisfying and rewarding things you can get out of combat. Learning which situations benefit from tap dodging, hold dodging, or even rolling will keep you in the fight longer and allow you to have more openings to punish your opponent. Take things slow. Most of the time you benefit from not being the aggressor. Let your opponent make the first mistake, not you. Finding your timings for each dodge will allow you to chain them together, granting you longer iframes and more unpredictability. The key to gaining maximum benefit is punishing after your dodges. You want to be untouchable. The fastest and easiest way to get the timings down is to place the bot in free training on counter training specific to the weapon you want to learn timings on. Practice, practice, practice. The results will blow your enemies away.
And finally, the last tip I have for you is to choose the correct talent glyphs. With the recent patch buffing everyone's starting stamina, this won't be as huge of an issue as it was before, but you'll still want to take note as it does do a lot of difference for your maximum stamina and your stamina recovery rate. Now, of course, below your level 40, you won't be able to fully take advantage of this, but once you hit level 40, be sure to go to these talent glyphs and make sure that they are always on your characters for the maximum benefit of stamina and stamina recovery. And that is going to do it for the ultimate Naraka Bladepoint movement guide for 2022. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. Another huge thank you to Treygo for showing us talents and giving us some extra tips here in the video. I'll have his Twitch link and his Twitter and his YouTube down in the description below. Be sure to go say hi, tell him OSK sent you, and that he provided some awesome tips on the recent movement guide. He's seriously been a big help both to this guide and also to me getting back into Naraka Bladepoint and relearning all the movement that the game has to offer, so please go show him as much love as you can. Again, couldn't have done this without him. Thank you so much, Treygo, for your help. And of course, as with every video, if you liked the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Naraka Bladepoint content, and leave a comment if you found one tip especially useful or if you have your own that I may have missed. Of course, a big thank you to all of our channel members. If you'd like to become a channel member, simply hit that join button down by the subscribe button. I believe it's still Gabriel Amaya, still holding down the fort for 5 months strong, so thank you very much, Gabriel, for your continued support. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching yet again, and I will have to go. I've been OSK, y'all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.